Today we'll be discussing business writing. I'm sure it's something that all of us are really interested in knowing something about. All of us, or most of us, have probably had something to do around business writing. Uh, I thought I put this Musa in waiting room now. Who brought him back again? Next time he will be removed entirely. So we're looking at business writing today. And as I said, all of us have had something to do around business writing, either when we're in school, where we have to do formal writing, report writing, or maybe after school, and we have to do a bit of writing. Either we are writing proposals, we're writing business reports, we're writing feasibility studies, or whatever we've had to write that has to do with the context of business. So today we are going to be looking at some forms and then some techniques of business writing. Forms and techniques of business writing. So before we go into the real slide proper or the teaching proper, we need to know some things. Good writing is never an accident. It does not just happen. And then when you're talking of business writing, it's never an accident. It's not something that just jump on somebody. It takes planning, practicing, and revision to make a writing good. Now, let's also draw a line between good writing and perfect writing. There is no perfect writing. There's nothing like a perfect writing. Every piece of writing can always be improved on. That's why they say that the biggest room in the world, the largest room in the world, is the room of improvement. There's always something you can improve to add to your game, to improve your result, to better your output, to do whatever. There's always something to improve. So there is no perfect writing, but there can be excellent writing. There can be good writing. But for you to be able to get what is called good writing, you need to have done some things, observed certain diligence, such as planning the writing, then practicing your skills, your writing skills, your vocabs. I mean, your construction, doing a lot of practice. Generate a lot of drafts, and then you also get your writing revised. That's when you can be talking in terms of having a very quality piece of writing. In fact, there's a joke that about good writing. When you read some books, you find errors, and there's no perfect book. That's a saying in the publishing industry. There's nothing like a perfect book. There's no book, no matter how revised, reviewed, edited it is, there will always be one error or the other that they will still see. In fact, very notable. All of us, I know we have Muslims here, all of us know the Holy Bible. Do you know how many, every translation of the Bible, do you know how many scholars actually sit down to review, to revise, and all that? But you see some grammatical errors in the Bible, some spelling errors too in the Bible that was reviewed by God knows nothing less than 50 scholars with from different backgrounds and all that, who have to look at this piece of writing. So there's no perfect writing. In fact, there was a president in the US, there's a US president, President Eisenhower, who wanted to debunk that myth. It's a publishing myth that there's no perfect book. He wanted to debunk the myth that there's no so he wanted to produce a perfect book, a book that will be devoid of any error, any grammatical mistake whatsoever. And so he did this book, got scholars, many experts and professionals to review the book, and it was published. And do you know what? The very first sentence of that of that book contains an error. The very first sentence contains an error. So that is just to tell you that there's no perfect book. Why that is so? That doesn't mean that we should not put in our best to produce quality writing. We must ensure that whatever we are doing is all marked with excellence as a signature of excellence. So for us to be able to get that, we need to do certain diligence in terms of planning, practice, and revision. And when you write, whatever piece of writing is going out in your name is actually creating an image about you as a person or about your business, your brand, the business you are writing for as a brand. See, there's a science where you know, I've forgotten the name, what's it called now, where you know somebody's character, somebody's attribute by just the writing alone. You know this is the kind of person this person is just by writing. When I see what you've written, I already know. I know I can tell you this is the kind of person this person is. So that I see those who are thoughtful, those who are meticulous, those who are organized, those who are tacky, careless, those who don't care, who are carefree. Just by reading your work, I can see the kind of person you are. You see those who are very intellectual and those who are lazy-minded, all in your writing. So whatever you are writing is creating an image in the mind of your readers about you. So we should be very careful about what we write and how we write. And for you as a professional, your writing is saying something about you. For your company as a brand, your writing is also saying something about your brand as well. So is this a brand that is trustworthy, that can handle my job when they are writing too many grammatical errors and all that thing? I mean, do you see many grammatical errors in their work? Can I entrust my project to these people? So we have to be careful when we're writing in the business context. Why? Because I mean, it says a lot, it goes a long way. And once you're writing for business, the fact that it's business doesn't mean that it should be painful to read. It should be an effortless read. The fact that you are writing about technical terms doesn't mean that you should now be using jargons to intimidate your audience, to confuse your readers. That won't get you anywhere. You must learn to blend it, to express or convey those technical terms in non-technical ways that even the layman can easily understand what you are saying, and then they'll be able to make the most of it. Your writing should be clear and concise. Endeavor to use short sentences and simple words when you are writing for business. Then you should also thrive on facts. Facts. Be factual in your claim. Don't say things that are not true in your business writing. Ensure that your writing actually is factual. You are making a claim about certain events that happen. Be sure that those dates they are accurate. Be sure that the persons involved is the right people you are citing. You are not attributing what happened to the wrong people. That would start to diminish your own prestige as a writer because it shows that you are tacky, you are careless, you don't do due diligence. So let's be very mindful of this when we are writing, either professionally, personally, creatively, and especially in business. Um, Now, in terms of imperatives, these are like the 10 commandments of writing. These are laws that you must take note of. You must, number one, consider your reader. In fact, this is the first rule in any communication endeavor, your audience. Who are your readers? Who are those that make up your audience? So, whatever you are writing, you must write in alignment with your audience's sensibilities, the expectations, the requirements, what they want to read or what they expect to read from this kind of work. Audience is very, very important. I always, when I'm talking about this, I always give the instances of the tyranny of the audience, because the audience, that's also like a saying in the communication context, the audience is a tyrant. They have four powers that they exercise over you. And so, those of you that have pen and pad, please take note of this. In every scenario, those your audience has four powers that they exercise over you in a communication context. First is the power of selective attention, or selective exposure. Sorry, selective exposure. The power of selective exposure. That is a power of the audience that it has over the communicator, the writer, whoever it is that is formulating, creating, transmitting the communication piece. The audience can choose to expose itself to your communication or not. Now, I'm sure all of us, most of us are on social media. We go to Facebook, we go to Twitter. I mean, you go to all these things. And when you get there, you see all manners of posts from different people on your timeline. Now, it's not every post you see there that you read or that you bother to read in detail. That is, you are exercising the power of a selective exposure. You choose what you expose yourself to as an audience. The audience chooses what it wants to be exposed to. So you can see like a dozen of posts on your from dozen of individuals on your timeline, but you just want to read from two people. So you have chosen those to be exposed to the communication, to the writings of those two people. That is a power you have exercised. Now, the second power is the power of selective attention. Selective attention. Now, of all the two, I mean, you saw like 12, you chose to expose yourself to two. Now, you are looking at your time. Okay, I want to read two of my friends have posted. Which one should I read between these two? You now choose the ones whose post you want to attend to. This is the person I want to comment, I want to engage his or her post. That is the power of selective attention. You choose which of the pieces you are reading or you are seeing that you are attending to. That is the second power that is wielded by an audience. The third power, and the most dangerous one, is the power of selective interpretation. Selective interpretation. Your audience can choose to interpret your message the way it wants. Because meaning is personal, interpretation is personal. The audience chooses what how you interpret your message. That's why you need to be very clear, make it clearer, make it non-obfuscated with too many jargons, with too many vocabs. Just make your construction, your writing, your communication as easy to read, easy to hear, easy to understand as possible. Why? Because the audience can choose to interpret it his own way. And this, that's my opinion. I think this is the most dangerous power of the audience, the power of selective interpretation. And then the last power that is wielded by the audience is the power of selective retention. Selective retention. The audience chooses, of all the, maybe you wrote a book, I mean, 12 chapter book, 50 chapter book, the audience can just choose maybe just one minute a scenario or scene in that book to remember. So if you ask somebody, hey, can you tell me about this book? And no, you just wonder, yeah, this book is big. So why is it just this tiny information? That's what you can say about it. That is what the audience has chosen what to retain. The audience has the power to retain what he wants to retain out of all the gamut of information you put out there. So that is why it's also good that you use what they call the inverted pyramid in journalism when you're writing, when you are communicating. Pardon me, please. Use the inverted pyramid where you state the important things first, because the audience will not read everything. So ensure that what when you start to present your case, the very important ones were the ones that you highlight first, because so that when the audience is choosing to retain, they will retain the very important ones that you have communicated. So you won't be wondering, but I said this, but how come they didn't remember? How come nobody talks about it? The audience has exercised its own power based on its own peculiarities, maybe the time, the limitation of time, and all that. So let's be very careful. So when you're writing your audience could be your manager, could be your supervisor, could be your friend, your lover, your parents, your HOD, your lecturer, whatever they may be. Consider your reader. Consider the idiosyncrasies. What are the peculiarities? What do they like to read? How do they like to consume what is being presented to them? And align your writing, align your communication to that. Very important. The second imperative is to be responsive. Be responsive when you doing business writing. Why? Because it's business. Business, the essence of even writing in the first place is because you are looking for something, either goodwill. Goodwill can lead to patronage, can lead to promotion, can lead to sign up, whatever. So you have to be responsive when you are engaging your, your in terms of your audience, your readers. Be responsive, take the sensibilities into consideration. Then when you're also doing business writing, be concise and go straight to the point. No need for fluffs. Go directly, address the point. It's business. Business thrives on everything is done sharp and on time. Then be friendly and build relationship, because at the end of the day, business is also done among friends, among people who agree with one another. Who do I need to remove now? It's done among people who are friends. So be friendly, build a relationship. They emphasize the positive in your writing. The world usually thrives on negativity. In fact, the whole entire news industry is built on reporting bad news, evil things happening around there. But in terms of business, everybody is entering business just so that they can be killing, be addressing fire or negative incidents. Business is done for a positive towards a positive end. We're looking at patronage, increasing revenue, bettering the lots of people. So you have to emphasize the positive. Don't be the doomsayer. Don't be a prophet of doom in your, even if you have to talk about something negative, couch it in a positive and upbeat manner. Then be prompt. If you have to respond to a business correspondence, be prompt, be direct, and then check your spelling, check grammar, check your facts that they are accurate. Then also format is very important. There are different types of business writing, different forms of business writing. Each has its own unique format. Ensure that When you are writing your proposal, it reads like a proposal and not a letter. When you are writing your feasibility study, it reads like a feasibility study and not a proposal. It is very important that you use the right format. Yep. So, in terms of technical workplace writing, as we're talking in terms of business, you have to focus on the purpose of your writing. Why am I writing this in the first place? What is this writing supposed to address? What is supposed to do? What is supposed to achieve? Then focus on the purpose. Then focus on your readers. We still come back to audience. Very important. Focus on your readers. Who are the people that are going to consume, going to read or make decisions based on this writing I'm doing? What do they want to read? Do they want to read about my personal situations, my opinion, or they just want facts that will help them to make informed decisions? So you've got to focus on them. Align your document, your writing, your communication to the requirements. Then also satisfy the requirements of the document itself. We talked about the fact that business writing has different formats. Ensure that you satisfy the format of the writing you are doing. What are the style? What is the structure like? Are there are there visuals that go with this kind of writing? Does it thrive on data and statistics? Ensure that you meet all those. Then get to the point, be concise, don't clutter up your sentences. Also provide accurate information. Do your research. Don't make false claim. Don't ascribe what somebody did not do to them. You lose credibility that way as a writer, as a communicator, as a professional. Express and present your materials logically. Be logical in your presentation, sequential. Don't do creative. Okay, I want to start in middle. I want to start from the beginning, from the end. No, do it in a logical way that people can easily follow. Then express yourself clearly. Use efficient diction. Your word choice, your vocabulary is very important. Granted, you're not supposed to be boring your readers or your audience with too many technical terms, but when you have to use them intelligently. Don't try to substitute technical terms for layman terms when the technical terms will actually serve your purpose better. Then make your ideas accessible to the readers. Be clear when you in your writing. Be clear. Clarity is very important. Mind you, that something is clear to you doesn't mean that it's clear to your readers. That's why you need others to review your work for you. And most of you don't understand the value of when you say do your peer review, review each other's work. You are learning more from that than even the process of doing the writing yourself. Why? Because others get to review your work, they critique it, they offer, suggestions and all that based on the way they see it. Remember, audience is king. You are doing the writing, but you are ready doing the writing for somebody else to read and enjoy. So you need other people to also make an input into your writing, no matter how good you are. Then use lists for some information when you need to present them using bullets or numbers. Then format your pages carefully, leave white space. Note that okay, you doing this writing in a business context, it should be neat. Then manage your time efficiently so that you can meet deadlines. Don't shoot deadlines. Don't be the one that is lagging behind, that is dragging everybody back, because you have everybody has issues. There's no excuse that any of us will say we have that others don't have it. Power situation in Nigeria has been before most of us were born. So there's always that issue, that problem of power. There's no power. So how are others who are productive, who are getting things done, how are they doing them? Data, internet. There's no excuse. Just imagine any excuse that you want to give that others do not have. everybody faces the same thing, but those who are able, those who are driven, those who are productive in the mindset, they work around those challenges and they emerge the champion. So if to give excuse, everybody can give excuses. So manage your time efficiently and meet deadlines. Now to look at the process of business writing, we talked about this briefly. You need to brainstorming, information gathering, planning and outlining your business writing. Then you need to write the first draft. Remember, there's no perfect writing. Write your first draft, get it revised and reviewed, then get it edited and proofread. Get it edited and so these are the processes you need to go through to produce your business writing. You can't just start to write without planning what you are going to write, without gathering information about it, without outlining it. This is an outline you want to work with. And then do the first draft. The very first writing you are doing is not always the perfect one. You have to revise it. It's the draft. Get it revised, get it reviewed, get it edited and proofed. And then you will have a good or passable writing depending on your writing strength. I don't know if we should look at business letters. I will just run through this because I want to just focus more on the proposals because I usually take this session in two, but I'm not the one taking you guys next week. Anyway, let's see how far it goes. If I'm able to finish, then maybe another time when we have somebody else cancel, then I will take the other part of the business writing slides. We have advertising letters, we have cover letters, we have sales letter. I'm sure all of us are familiar with some of these things. We've read some of them, we've seen some of them, and then we've also maybe had something to do with some of them. Advertising letters we know is, I mean, using to advertise a product. You see, maybe you open a newspaper and you see a whole page that is devoted to a particular product, or you send a letter to a client or to customers to read about a new product. That's an advertising letter. Cover letters are the letters you also use to what? To back an important document. Maybe you are sending not proposal. Proposal one is called transmittal letter. So when business to business, I mean, when you're writing, you in terms of advertising, cover letters, you send feasibility study, you attach your cover letter, business plan, cover letter goes with it, or a report as a cover letter. And then sales letter is to get sales, obviously you want to close sales, you want them to come and buy your product, come and patronize your service, then you send a sales letter. And this sales letter, I mean, all of us, some of us might have heard about this, but it's something that we should take note of. This AIDA principle must always follow this principle. Attention must be attention grabbing, must arouse interest, must provoke desire, and then call to action. A typical sales letter must fulfill this four principle. It's called the AIDA principle, where you must write in such a way that it will gain the attention of the audience, of the reader. You remember we said something about the power of selective attention because the audience will choose what they attend to. So you must grab the attention, not that they read the first two sentences and they just drop it. That means you've lost that audience forever. It must compel them to want to read more. And then when they are reading more, you provoke their interest, pick their interest, make them interested in what you're talking about by giving them statistics, giving them interesting information, fresh writing, and then you start to whet the desire to want to acquire or buy or own that thing that you are selling to them. And then when you've got them desiring, then you call them to action. call us now, send us an email, or fill this form on this link, and then that is call to action. Or pay now. Those are call to action. You must call to action. Otherwise, you will just wear desires, and desire will just blow out because there are other things actually clamoring for attention of the audience. So you must always call to action. Letters of introduction, where you used to introduce product, equipment, service, explain how it works, and then what makes your own product different from the others, your own service distinguished from those of your competition. What is the significance of this product or this service? Um, and what are the who are those that are eligible to use it and who are not eligible? You have to provide information. And then what are the limitations? What are the benefits? And then provide links for more information. They want to know more about it. Provide where they can get more and more information to help them uh, go for that. Job related letters. I mean, you're looking for jobs or you're trying to get a job from a company, and you do this. I said that most people that know, most people apply for jobs. I see that too, and they just forward their CVs. That's very wrong. It's very, very wrong. Can you just forward CV? And to even make it worse, some people just forward CV. You will see forward, 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 forward in the in the in the subject. When I just see that, I just delete it immediately. This person, I say your writing says a lot about you. Your mail says a lot about you as well. You say the way you send mail to somebody, it just tells them the kind of person you are. See, some people they want to apply for a job and they are forwarding the same, they forwarded like God knows like 10 times. Now see forward, 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 forward. Oh, that's a tacky. That person will never do a quality work. And then so the recruiters just delete that kind of mail. I delete them. I don't even bother to read them. So you must now do a cover letter. You are sending your CV to somebody, your resume to somebody, do a cover letter to introduce your resume to them, to tell them why you are interested in applying for a job in their organization. Because I mean, when they are, but when you do that, it's very important that that gives you that's like the first foot in. So because the logic is that if you are too lazy to write a cover letter, you'll be too lazy to work. That's the saying in HR. If you are too lazy to write a cover letter, you'll be too lazy to work. And then if you not even write one, you didn't write it well, your writings are full of grammatical errors here and there, your CV also gets trashed. So you have to be careful because the thinking there is that if you are too lazy to write a good cover letter, you're probably too lazy to do a quality work. So the recruiter will just be that kind of writing. Job related letters, where you can do an inquiry letter as a request or in response to a request made by somebody. Order letter used to order materials, order inventory, purchasing order. So these are job related letters. Then transmitter letter, I think I just talked about that briefly. Is usually this one goes with a report with a proposal. Letter of transmitter goes with your proposal or your report to tell the readers or the audience what they're about to read. If there are some highlights, try to mention them in your letter of transmitter. Um, Now, after having done business, having maybe you've gotten the job, you've gotten the business, these are relationship building letters. You use them, letter of appreciation, thank you letter, thank somebody for business favor. They recommended you, they gave you a referral. You've got to thank them and use this to build relationship. is to build. It can't be too big to appreciate somebody for whatever help they've done to you. I mean, for them to have even gone out of their way, I mean, they don't have to do it, but they did it, then you've got to appreciate them. And you do this, that's just etiquette, that's just social manners that you are observing. So we need to um, be conscious of these. These are part of business writing. You should be able to appreciate them, say thank you for all. If somebody gave you a customer, remember to thank them for it. And apology letters as well. Maybe there's somebody, there's no how nobody is perfect. We offend somebody in the course of or something, the service delivery goes wrong, then you use apology letter to try to redress the situation, acknowledge the nature of the complaint. If there's a complaint that was made, acknowledge the fact that the audience or the customer, whoever it is, has a right to be angry, to be offended, to be upset. Acknowledge the feelings, acknowledge their points, and then explain. If you think that they are wrong, explain to them why you think this is the case and all that. So by you expressing, don't get defensive. By you expressing the situation from your perspective, because it takes two to tango. Really, you have to. Maybe they didn't see the clear picture, but by you taking time to do that, to express what I mean, they can. Oh, this way they've gone wrong. Who did them not come back to you that, oh, I was wrong, but at least you will have actually redressed or saved the day. So express your understanding of situation, empathize with their concerns, give some statements regarding the situation. I mean, to show that you really, really understand. Don't just talk. Some people you just copy and paste. Go and type on AI, and then you just know you don't do that because AI doesn't know what happened between your organization or you are the person that is complaining or that you've offended. So you should be able to say in your own words stating what happened. If AI is even giving you, if AI is giving you templates, you need to still work those to the context of the matter of the situation. Most of us will just go and copy and paste AI generated, and then you even leave the audience confused. What is this one talking about? Wow. Okay, so you use this and then to just help you to be able to save the relationship. And then, I mean, if there have been actions that have been taken about the situation, you need to also let the customer or the audience know that yes, you've taken this action to redress. It won't happen again. Not that you just apologize and you didn't let them know that what has been done to save the situation. So that is, and then adjustment letter when there's a complaint, formal complaint about something, about someone, about a service. You need to let the audience know, the readers know that yes, the action that have been taken to adjust the organization, to adjust your operations, to adjust your service delivery. And it also helps because it can also be a legal document. If the matter gets escalated, oh, but we said this, we did, we said we were doing this and all that. So you need to document. It can't be true. That's why writing is a very primary skill. Every professional, even if all you have to do is speaking, you must be a good writer. Writing is very, very fundamental. So because what you've written can be used for in your favor or against you. So you've got to know how to even write well, effectively, efficiently. So later when you are doing your letter of adjustment, you write in so that let them know what has been done to redress the situation, to correct the errors, to address the offense. And response letter. No, we are talking about relationship letters now. Letters that used to build relationship. Um, this is response letter to receive by somebody. To feel request made by person. Somebody writes to you asking for certain information, and then you respond. And you remember we said being responsive is one of the cardinals of business writing. You must be responsive. You can't let an inquiry just lie low without responding to it. Then, time let of appreciation, thanking a customer. They've gone out of their way to help you. They buy more than they usually, more than we buy before. You've got to appreciate them, and just to keep the business flowing and prospering. So, in terms of tools of business writing, email, all of you guys are very used to email now, but before, email wasn't part of business writing before. It's a new addition. Every business writing must be done in paper on paper. But now we have email, so and it has even taken over most of the business writing that we do. So because everything can actually be transmitted or communicated via email. So it's a leading form now, or leading tool of business. The memorandum, internal memorandum of understanding between two or among parties. These are tools of business writing, letters, reports, even phone calls, because some phone calls can now be transcribed, it can be documented. So you have that meetings and conversations is a part of the tools of business. So when you want to choose your tool, there are some questions you ask to help you know which tool is best suited for your communication endeavor or the purpose for which you are communicating. So the first question is, what am I writing about? How much information do I need to pass along? That will help you to know which form to use or which tool to use. How many people will receive the message? Is it by one or two people? Is it by a large number of people? How quickly does it need to reach them? That also tells you what medium, what tool to use. How much time do
Very
they need to
important.
respond? Well, so I just remove this person now.
I don't know if
Uh, how formal should the presentation be? Is the message confidential? How people likely to respond to it? This would help you to. I think you co-host, I will have to put you in the waiting room because you are admitting people that I remove to come and be disturbing what I'm saying. Um, Email etiquette. Please let's note this, very important. This can make or mar your entry in the world of work in the field of commerce. Most of us lack email etiquette. We just do email because we feel like everybody is doing it. No, when you are writing in a business context, in a business setting, then you need to observe certain etiquette, certain standards. Ensure that your email, which you are writing, you're not writing to your friend, you're not writing to your lover. If you're writing to your, but if you are writing to a business associate, a colleague, a superior, even a subordinate, there's a way you have to write your email. Your tone must be courteous because it is a business correspondence. And then when you're writing, don't just scatter emails to everybody on your list. At times, you have it's very, very, maybe because of, maybe it's an office, everybody has maybe a general email that, even when you send an email to that particular email, even the MD or the group MD or the global MD sees the mail. So you don't just scatter mails because you want to write, and then you now send an email to, to even the MD that is no, meet or suitable for the MD's attention. That is disregard. I did some internship at UNESCO, and through the emails you see the email of the DG of the organization. But that doesn't mean that you should write to them. So the next person that is talking now, I'm going to remove you from. When I remove you from a Zoom, whatever, you won't be able to log in again, because to be as if you are reported to Zoom. So this is a final warning to everybody. Once I won't put you in the waiting room, I'm going to remove you from the meeting. And once you are removed, it's as if you are constituting a nuisance. Zoom will not allow you to enter the meeting again. So please, let's take note and adjust accordingly. So the fact that you have the email of the MD doesn't mean you should not be scattering emails and be bothering the MD with those what does not concern the MD. You are actually stepping your bounds. And once it's a business correspondence, even if it's a chat, you have to respond. We said this thing like 3 times now. Be responsive in a business writing context. Responsiveness is key. You can't just ignore the message. You can't just ignore the correspondence. You must respond to them. And when you write it, begin with a salutation. Most of us also fall short of this. Dear sir, dear ma, dear HR, you've got to start a salutation. You can't just then go straight to the email and just start to your, because I want to be brief. I want to be, no, you've got to do some of those diligence. Begin with a salutation. Dear sir, dear ma, hi ma, hi ma. No, you've got to, if you don't want to put out ma, put the person's last name, Mr. So whatever, Mrs. or Miss, whatever. You've got to do that. Then keep your content brief. Make it essential. If you're referring to a website or a source for more information, provide a link. And when you are writing email, don't use all caps in your writing. In fact, when you are writing anything online, don't use all caps. When you use all caps, it shows that you are yelling, you are shouting online. It shows that you are shouting, that you are yelling. They don't get too informal. Don't get too informal because it's email. Everybody has it. Everybody can work with it. Don't abuse that and then get too informal. Still, if you have to be semi-formal, if you have to be strictly formal, ensure, because you are writing in an email context. And remember, demographic analysis, know your audience. Who are you writing to? Who are you writing to? In fact, I need to give this example. Let me pause recording for some time. That ensure that you address your audience properly. Properly. If you don't know the office, it's either you address them by the office or by their last name. They cannot be the one to tell you, oh, sorry, use my first name. Then you can now start to do that. In fact, I remember also, I was just talking about UNESCO now. When I was applying to the UNESCO, because we have to correspond with our manager from the school, and she said, I would Miss Tinio, that's her name is Linda Tinio. I said, Miss Tinio, but UNESCO, they have a strictly first name policy. So she told me, say, Babatunde, please address me as Babatunde. I said that would be a bit hard for me to do. Address me as Linda. I said it would be a bit hard for me to do, but I would get used to it. So she was one that said, no, address me as Linda. but my mails to her, my correspondence is Miss Tinio. So that is, you've got to, you can't just be too familiar. I mean, you lose out. Most they will not even talk to you, they won't tell you what you've done, or they will just cut you off entirely. So we have to be very careful about this thing. And because it's email is so easily accessible, you can just you type it and then you send it. But you don't know what harm you are doing to yourself by just being careless with your writing. So we have to be very careful. Even if you are in the no, I see that also happen a lot. You are in the same WhatsApp group with some people who are obviously maybe senior to you. You feel because you are in this, and that is disrespectful. You don't abuse access. You don't abuse that kind of thing because it works against you if you don't know. They may not talk to you, they may not say anything, but they will have profiled you in a way. This person cannot undo access. This person is disrespectful. The person does not have, and all these things, little things, they matter a lot. They matter a lot. The fact that you are in the same room with somebody, you are in the same maybe WhatsApp group, doesn't mean that you are on the same level in life. So you've got to know some of these things and then align yourself accordingly. These are how people lose out. Very little things, and you miss out on the bigger things in life. Don't get too informal. Don't use emoticons and acronyms when I mean why use I mean I said the person is okay, person is insist on use acronyms or the person uses emoticons. Don't be the one to what are you trying to prove? That you are funky, that you lose out by some of these things. So let's be careful. Some of these etiquette mannerisms, they matter a lot. I don't know what the time is. Let me check. Ah, we've done an hour. As I said, I can't take business proposal today because this is another slide entirely. So, do we have questions? Questions? If I have time again, I will take us on business proposal. If somebody cancels or so, maybe we'll help us to work that out. But I can't take. Okay, Abdulhamid Otaru Abraham. Another thing I need to quickly say: most of us, when we write our names with, and I get confused really. We start our names with our surname. Please, that is not the right way. Your name should be your first name first, your own given name, then your surname. So at times I get confused. I don't know which one is like this Abdulhamid. Now I don't know which one is his surname. Is it Abdulhamid or Abdul Malik? So Abdulhamid, please share your question. Let's hear you. Abdul, you have the mic. Abdul, please talk. You are raising your hand. I'm saying you should talk. I can't hear. Any other person have a question that's willing to talk? Questions before we bring the meeting to a close. Okay. In the absence of any other question, I think it's safe to say, have a fantastic day, everyone. We meet again. I mean, the next time, I'm not sure I'll be the one taking guys next week. I think somebody else is coming to take you next week. So when we meet again, we'll be able to see what we can do. From here, bye and have a fantastic remainder of the day.